Welcome dear students for this final lecture of chapter number 2, that is ecosystem. So in today's lecture we are going to deal with eutrophication of lake and river. So I Amol Handore, assistant professor at Department of Zoology, welcome you for this lecture. So let's take a brief recap of previous lecture. In last lecture we have studied ecological pyramids, the different types of pyramids, significance, advantage and disadvantages of these pyramids, and finally we studied energy flow in an ecosystem. The study objective of today's lecture will be to study introduction to the eutrophication, steps of the eutrophication, types of eutrophication and sources and causes of eutrophication along with impacts of the eutrophication. So let's begin with today's topic, that is eutrophication. So the eutrophication word is derived from a Greek word in which eu means more and trophic means nutrition. So the word eutrophication means there is more nutrients are present in an ecosystem. So this eutrophication basically occurs in aquatic ecosystem. So lakes, ponds are the major ecosystem where the eutrophication is seen because they receive large amount of nutrients in the form of phosphorus and nitrogen as well as sediments from the surrounding areas and watershed. So they become more fertile as well as due to the more amount of sediment they become shallow. So excess of these nutrients in these water bodies will result into the more growth of plants, because as you know, for the growth of plants nutrients are required, and since the nutrients are more, the more plants will be growing, and this is mainly caused by the water pollution of the water bodies. Now eutrophication occurs due to the different minerals and nutrients. Now let's see the steps of the eutrophication. So this eutrophication process takes place in 6 stages. First of all, nitrates and phosphates are added to the water body. Due to this excess of the nutrients, the luxuriant growth of plants takes place because plants require the nitrates and phosphates. So due to which there is more growth of the plant in aquatic body. Now after some time there occurs more growth of the algae. Now these algae will cover the entire water body, due to which there will be no penetration of sunlight in the water body and there occurs death of all the plants in that aquatic ecosystem. Now due to the death of the plants, bacteria will grow in number because they will start the degradation of these dead mass of plants, and due to which there will be anoxic condition. That means all the oxygen will be utilized by these bacteria, and due to which all the aquatic organisms they will start dying. So all the fishes, crustacean, all or mollusks, whatever organisms are present in that aquatic body, they will start dying. So let's understand this process of eutrophication with the help of pictures. So since nowadays in agriculture we have started a lot of use of fertilizers, and since these fertilizers will remain in the soil during the rain, these will wash away from the agriculture and they will go into the nearby water bodies. These can be ponds or lakes. So after that these nutrients of the water body will increase. So obviously whichever plants which are present in the aquatic body, they will get the nutrients in terms of fertilizers like nitrogen and phosphorus. So they will start growing. So along with the plants, algae also grow in large number. Now since these algae grow in large number, there occurs a phenomena that is called as algal bloom. So what is meant by algal bloom? That the entire surface of the water is covered by the algae. So in this picture you can see the all green water. This is because it has a large amount of algae growing on its surface. So this overgrowth of algae is nothing but what is called as algal bloom. Now after this abundant growth of the algae, the entire surface is covered by algae. So obviously the plants which are present in that water will start dying because the sunlight is blocked, and the plant which are growing in that water ecosystem requires the sunlight. So since sunlight is blocked by the algae, now there will be no growth of the plants. So in the next step of eutrophication, algae and plant will die, and now since they are dead, the decomposition process starts, which is carried out by bacteria. So these bacteria will break down the dead bodies of the algae as well as the plants. Now during this process, they will consume all the oxygen which is present in that pond or lake ecosystem, so that water will be less in oxygen. That condition is called as anoxic condition. That means the water is without oxygen. Now since oxygen is required for the fishes and other organisms which are living in the water ecosystem or that aquatic ecosystem, so since there is no oxygen, obviously all the fishes and other aquatic life will start to die. Now in next condition, at this point this pond or lake will have the anoxic condition. That means there is no oxygen in the water, so there will be only growth of bacteria and or some algae which do not need oxygen, so they will only grow in that aquatic body. So if we can summarize this process, so the first, the nutrients in the form of fertilizers from agricultural field, they will come as a runoff through the rainwater. So whatever rainwater is flowing from the agricultural field will take all these fertilizer nutrients into the aquatic water body. Now these nutrients will give the boost to the growth of the aquatic plants as well as algae which are present in this aquatic ecosystem. So algae will grow fast and they will use lot of oxygen which is present in the water. Now at the same time, the entire surface of this water will be covered by algae. So you will have a matte growth of algae on the surface of water. Due to this, whatever sunlight is coming, that will not go to the bottom of the pond or lake. So due to this blockage of the sunlight, whatever plants which are present in this lake or a pond, they will not get sunlight, right? So they will not be able to grow. Obviously there is no sunlight, no photosynthesis of the plant, so all the plants will start dying. So you can see all aquatic plants begin to die, and now this will result into the dead matter. Now we know that once there is a dead bodies of the organism or plants, that will be broken down by the different types of algae and bacteria which are called as decomposers or saprophytes. So they will start breaking down the dead bodies of these plant material, and in this process these bacteria will consume all the remaining oxygen. So this will result into the competition for oxygen, as well as the entire water or entire oxygen from this water will be taken up by the bacteria. So that will result into the death of the fishes or other organisms which are present in this aquatic body. So this is the condition before eutrophication. This is a healthy lake where all the fishes and plants are growing normally, and these dots are nothing but the phytoplanktons or zooplanktons. So these fishes are feeding on phytoplanktons and zooplanktons. So suppose due to agricultural runoff, the nutrients in the form of phosphates and sulfates come to this aquatic body, then what will happen? These plants will get the nutrients, they will start growing more in number. Along with them, the algae will grow. Now these algae will form a mat-like structure on the surface. Now due to this, what will happen? The surface will not allow the sunlight to penetrate. So that's why the plants at the bottom will not get sunlight, they will die, and therefore there will be no oxygen, and obviously the fishes and other organisms will also die after some time. So the entire ecosystem will be collapsed due to this process of eutrophication. So in this picture, this entire process is shown again. So we have already discussed how this algal bloom is formed, that is the mad growth of algae. So sunlight will not be able to penetrate, and that's why that there will be death of all the organism, and there will be very less oxygen, and due to the scarcity of oxygen all organisms will start dying. So at the end you will only have the anaerobic bacteria which are growing in this water. Now we come to the types of eutrophication. There are two major types, that is natural eutrophication and cultural eutrophication. So the first type is natural eutrophication. That means this process takes place naturally. So it takes many years, thousands of years sometimes, or hundreds of years are required for this process to happen. So in this picture we can see a natural eutrophication. So this is a lake, and after few years there is a sediment at the bottom. You will have the some sediment. After many years this sediment will ultimately go on increasing, and there will be one point that entire lake will be covered by the sediment. There will be very less space for the water and the aquatic organisms to grow. Okay, so this is one of the type of eutrophication which is called as natural eutrophication. On the other hand, you have the cultural eutrophication. So in cultural eutrophication, man activities or whatever activities which are done by the human beings, they are responsible for cultural eutrophication. So we do different type of practices like agriculture, gardening, and from that, or even the industries, from these various nutrients they come as a sewage. So all the wastewater will be going to the agriculture. From this agriculture it is going to these water bodies, and that will increase the fertilizer which are present in the water bodies, and that will result into the more nutrients, and due to these more nutrients there will be growth of the algae on the surface of that aquatic body. So in this picture you can see the cultural eutrophication. So suppose this is a normal lake. After some decades, so this cultural eutrophication can take place within say 10 to 20 years. However, the other type, that is natural eutrophication, may take centuries, means hundreds of years. So cultural eutrophication takes place very fast because due to human activities. So we are doing agriculture or industrial development is there. So whatever wastewater which is rich in nitrates and phosphates is coming to the water body, and due to which the nutrient of this water body will increase. Obviously the plant will start growing more, algae will grow more, so the entire surface will be covered by the algae, and that will result into the eutrophication. Now we come to the different sources of eutrophication. So these sources are classified into two types, that is point sources and non-point sources. So what is meant by point sources? Point sources are also called as discrete source. That means we know the source from which these nutrients are coming. And these point sources are easy to regulate. If we do some regulatory management, then we can control these nutrients coming from these point sources. So the example of point sources includes industries, power plant, and sewage treatment plant. So in industries, different types of chemicals are used. So like pulp and paper mill industry, food and meat processing, agro industries. So they discharge a lot amount of sewage. Now this sewage water or the wastewater has large amount of nitrogen and phosphates, so that will be introduced into the aquatic ecosystem. So if this wastewater is not processed or it is not carried out, the sewage treatment is not carried out, then it will be result into the eutrophication. Similarly, the different power plant emit different types of gases, and that gases when condensed they will come into the aquatic ecosystem. Similarly, the sewage treatment plant, if they are not properly releasing their nitrogen and phosphate effluents, that will be added to the water bodies. So all these are called as a point sources. We know the source, that from these sources the nutrients are coming to the water body. Then there are some non-point sources, that means diffuse source. That means we cannot exactly make out from where these different types of nitrates and phosphates are coming to the water body. So these includes urban source, fossil fuels and agricultural source in the term of chemical fertilizers, manures and aquaculture. So the first important source is urban source. So it includes all the nutrient pollution mainly from the human sewage. From every household, the sewage is released into the water bodies, followed by the wastewater discharge plant, then ground septic tanks, stormwater runoff, or the nitrogen leaching are the major sources of or the urban sources of this eutrophication. This is followed by the burning of fossil fuels. So fossil fuels includes all the fuels that we use like petroleum products, petrol, diesel, kerosene, and after burning of these, a large quantity of nitrogen oxides are released into the atmosphere, and these nitrogen oxides when combined they will result in the formation of smog and acid rain. So you must have heard of acid rain. So after this, these nitrogen oxide will come back to the water ecosystem. Third major important non-point source is agricultural source. So to increase the productivity of our agricultural fields, we are increasing a large quantities of chemical fertilizers and manures. And now these large quantities are not utilized by the land or the plants, but the remaining nutrients will come as a runoff from this agricultural field to the water bodies, and that will increase the nutrient content of the water bodies. So these are the major point and non-point sources. Now we come to the different causes of eutrophication. So these point and non-point sources are the major causes of eutrophication, but here we have summarized all the causes of eutrophication. So the natural runoff of nutrients from soil as well as withering of rocks. So whatever nutrients which are coming from the agricultural field or gardens, they are very rich in the nitrates and phosphates. Similarly, rocks also contain some amount of nitrates and phosphates, so they can also come through the process of withering. Then runoff of inorganic fertilizers which are utilized in agricultural fields. Then runoff of manure from these agricultural farms, runoff from the erosion of the soil. You must have heard of soil erosion. The loose soil will be taken up by the water and it will be added to the aquatic ecosystem. Then discharge of nutrients. At different industries, we are using different types of detergents. Even in our daily uses, we are making use of detergents and they are very rich in nitrates and phosphates. Similarly, discharge of partially treated or untreated sewage. The sewage, if not treated properly in a sewage treatment plant, may have the high content of nitrates and phosphates. And if it is released into the aquatic ecosystem, it will be the major cause of eutrophication. So these are the all 6 different major important causes of eutrophication. Now we come to the impact of eutrophication. Why this eutrophication is so serious? So there are ecological impacts, human health impacts as well as economic impacts. So what is the ecological impact? First of all, algal bloom is formed, so that entire aquatic ecosystem will be converted into the wastewater. There could be harmful algae as well that will result into the mortality of fishes, bird and other mammals which are present in that aquatic bodies. This will result into the water pollution as well. So the oxygen content also depletes or decreases in water body, since we have seen that all the oxygen is utilized by the bacteria and algae. So the aquatic body is deprived of dissolved oxygen, so all the species will die. Suppose there are some species which are decreasing in number, so those species can also get extinct. So species biodiversity will decrease. Then it will have human health impact as well. So sometimes there could be the seafood poisoning. So see, if this organism they have this rich content of these nutrients in their body, they may harm the humans as well. This may result into muscular paralysis, difficulty in breathing, and sometimes the septic shock can also take place. Very commonly, you have the symptom like diarrhea, vomiting, and abdominal pain. Or sometimes it can also cause difficulty in breathing. So these are the impact on the human health. What are economic impacts that affect our economy? Now, since suppose this water body, there is a lot of tourism. Now, if there is eutrophication takes place, so this entire body will be water body is covered by algae or algal bloom. So all the animals will die. Suppose boating activity was taking place earlier. Now you cannot do this boating activity. Any water sports activity were going on, that will not take place. So this will result into the financial loss to the entire tourism industry. Similarly, persons cannot go for the swimming in such water bodies because that could be dangerous to the health. So all this results into the economic impact to the particular of this ecosystem. So with this, we have concluded today's lecture on eutrophication of lakes and rivers. So if we summarize in today's lecture, we have understood what is meant by eutrophication. So there is an increased nutrient load in the water body. So due to which what happens, there occurs a large number of growth of algae. So the algae will cover the entire plant water surface, due to which sunlight cannot penetrate. So whatever plants which are growing more in number due to the nutrients, they will start dying. Now since these plants will die, they will be broken down by the bacteria, and in this process entire oxygen which is present in the water will be utilized by the bacteria and some algae. So whatever aquatic organism like fishes which are present, they will be deprived of oxygen. So the smaller, larger fishes will start dying. Similarly, any crustacean like crabs or snails, they will also die in this process because they are not getting oxygen for the respiration, and this entire water body will be covered by only the algae and sediment at the bottom of this surface. So we have seen this process of eutrophication followed by the different causes of this eutrophication, different point sources and non-point sources which are responsible for the eutrophication, and what are the impacts of this eutrophication on the entire ecosystem, that water ecosystem, what are its impact on the human health, and what are its impact on the economics. So with this we conclude today's lecture. Thank you.